conference agreed that the creation of new states should be based on the following principles. Number one, the wishes of the people of the area should be determined by a plebiscite or referendum. Number two, the creation of the new state should be consistent with the principles of viability. Number three, the component units of the new state should be geographically contiguous. Number four, no ethnic group should be split into new states except with the express wishes of a two-thirds majority of the people in an ethnic group determined by a plebiscite. So this was a fantastic idea they had before they traveled. But when they got to the UK, Azikiwe did exactly what Azikiwe does. Now, 3 years prior to this particular conference, Azikiwe did something very, very interesting. 54. Papa had mooted the idea of a secession clause in Nigerian's constitution, 1954. And I'm telling you, I won't tell you the reason I want to go back just a little bit to mention this thing, because I thought about it like, why did they have to bring in Azikiwe? Then I remember that, listen, in 54, they were in the same London. They had a constitutional conference. Papa wanted secession clause in the Nigerian constitution, just like it was existing in the Soviet Union constitution at the time, where constitutional units could break out at will, secede at will. The North agreed with that idea, but Zik did not agree with the idea. And for some weird reasons, the Oyinbo, the colonial masters, decided to go with Zik. And so maybe that's why they decided to have another meeting before 57 conference, so that they will all agree on the same thing. But when they got to the UK, something interesting happened. I'm going to read this from Papa. It says, after we all arrived in London, the Sardauna convened a further meeting of the premiers, to which Dr. E.M.L. Endely, former premier of the Southern Cameroons, was invited for the first time. At some inconvenience to myself, I saw to it that memoranda on the decisions taken at the premiers' meeting in Lagos were prepared ready for signature at the London meeting, if approved. To the utter astonishment of my colleagues and me, and quite contrary to the agreement reached at the summit meeting in Nigeria, the NPC declared that they would not support any of the decisions taken at the summit meeting. Hold up. The NPC is Northern People's Congress. That's Sardauna. They are saying they would not support any decisions taken at the summit meeting, save the one on the independence of Nigeria in 1959. In other words, all the things we discussed, state creation, all those fantastic things we want to do, we not agree again. The only one we won't agree is say, we'll get independence. If you stop here, you blame the North. But then the question is, why did they not do what they not did? Let's continue. They remarked, who are they? NPC. They remarked the North. They remarked that they had adopted this attitude in clear and uncompromising resentment that the NCNC had submitted a welter of memoranda on the creation of new states, the contents of which were diametrically opposed to the principles agreed to at the Premiers' Conference in Lagos. So everything they discussed before they left Nigeria, when they got there, Azikiwe changed everything. This is why I say some people have not really changed. Okay, he changed everything, right? And first, you have two very crazy ideas. Number one was the fact that the East, his own region, should not be broken into parts. Which is why when you read the book by what's it called? Ken Saro-Wiwa. When you read the book by Ken Saro-Wiwa, On a Darkling Plain, where he talked about, let's create new states. That was in 1967, after Ojukwu had taken over. The reason people treated him with contempt was because of the things that he had done also while he was in power. What he said, earlier, was that they were not going to allow the eastern minorities to break out of the eastern region. And this was consistent. It happened in the 50s, happened again in the 60s, several times in the 60s. Now, so he said the East should not be touched. But guess what he said about the West? That the Western region should be broken into 4. Now, keep in mind that the Western region was the smallest of the 3 regions at the time. There was the North, there was the West, and there was the East. The West was the smallest. And yet, Azikiwe says, don't touch the East. I don't care about the North. But you see that West, break them into 4. So he wanted Midwest created. He wanted Lagos State created. He wanted Western State, Central Western State created, which would be Oyo and Ondo provinces, or what we now know as Oyo and Ondo states, including Ekiti and Osun. then he wanted something called cassava and kola nut state, which would be Ijebu and Abeokuta provinces. Now, why that makes no sense is because, number one, I even hate the idea of cassava and kola nut. I think it's dumb. But that's just my opinion. I think it's dumb. Yeah, because there's cassava in other parts of the country. I don't know. So anyway, you get the point. Now, the crazy part is, why would you want to break the smallest region into 4 and keep your region intact, even though you know that your region is made up of so many other groups apart from your group, and that you are leeching on the, by the way, his own group was leeching. I'll say it again. They were leeching heavily on the ethnic minorities in the eastern region before and after independence. All right, but that's his own great idea. And it was that action that prompted the North to then withdraw from supporting everything in the memorandum that they had signed before leaving, that they agreed upon before leaving Nigeria.